What's going on, everyone? So we got news yesterday that a Lionsgate and Blumhouse Blair Witch Project is going to be produced. So this is supposed to be like a new take on the Blair Witch Project. Here's my thing, right? So first off, they've tried to do this on several occasions, right? They've had multiple sequels at this point, and like the the Book of Shadows, I actually enjoyed. Some people kind of seem to be hit or miss with that, right? The more modern remake was okay. It was fun. It was entertaining. Um, but it's just why. That's kind of how I feel about it, right? Like you had the 26, I believe it's 2016, that came out, and it was like a direct sequel to the original, and then it's just you're never gonna catch that lightning in a bottle again, right? And like I get Blumhouse, it's kind of their MO, right? Just pumping out these various remakes of classics, and they even did a uh, Paranormal Activity, right? It was a Next to Kin, where I actually enjoyed that one, where they tried to go like a different route, a different like, hey, let's kind of reboot this franchise a little bit and do something. But that was like their thing, right? Like, and the story and everything kind of made sense, right? It was like this almost anthology in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, there were some that tie in together, but there were some that were kind of its own thing and stuff. Like, I don't know. I just, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I'm kind of burnt out on these like remakes of all these classics. Right? One of the things that made the Blair Witch so special was it was the first of its kind, right? It was we'd never really seen that found footage style. They did such an incredible job marketing it. I mean, people believed that it was real up until this point, right? Like, I mean, there's people out there that probably still thought it was real at some point, right? Like, and because they did such a great job of just having like fake documentaries. Like now you'll see studios and stuff, they'll do like the documentary route to add to like a found footage film, but like those kind of things never happened back then. It's things like The Exorcist, right? They try to remake The Exorcist, and what happens? It's total flop because you're never going to recapture the things that made those first of a ever to replicate. You're never going to be able to convince people, right? Now there's a million found footage films and a million type of films like this, and some are good, some are bad, some are kind of in between, but the beauty of the Blair Witch was the time, right? Much like The Exorcist. It's like the original Exorcist was this film that like people never saw those based on true events, and there was a book about it, and this boy went and experienced this, and yes, it's like a loose adaptation, but still like you can put yourself into it and you have all this shock and awe and craziness, right? And then you have the original Blair Witch, and they make a website at a time where websites weren't like this huge thing, right? Like now everyone and their mother has a website. But back then, when the original Blair Witch came out, like those kind of things were new. They were, and then to have a documentary on top of it, it was just the naivete of people back then, right? Just like the Blair Witch or like the Exorcist back in its day. Right now, it's like every movie's based on a true story, and really, it's just like the name of the dog is the same, and it's like well, now we can use that line. It doesn't carry the same weight anymore. And to me, okay, if you're gonna make some Blair Witch style film, why not just create something new and different? Right? Like if you're doing this reimagining, this new adaptation of the Blair Witch Project, why not do a rare new adaptation of a different film? Why not be creative rather than just slapping the Blair Witch stamp on it? Right? And then they wonder why all these remake films keep flopping and they keep doing terrible, and they got to fire directors, and they're like, I don't understand what's going on. Why I don't people just don't go to the movies no more. No, you just don't make anything worth watching anymore. It's crazy to me. It is absolutely bizarre that they just keep pumping these things out over and over and over again. And it's like It's the definition of insanity, right? Doing something over and over and over again, expect a different result. And I get, like, studios don't really want to take these chances. And yes, people are going to go see the film because it's the Blair Witch Project. No, and look, I'm probably going to go watch the film too because it's kind of like what I do, but it's just, there's so many things that, like, you could just do differently, right? Like, you want a Blair Witch style film, create a new type of adaptation that isn't the Blair Witch, that make 10 new films out of it. I don't care. At least it's something different rather than trying to replicate lightning in a bottle that's already been done 10 times. And it's like, at what point do you just say, okay, well, it didn't really work that great the other few times? And, like, people seem to like the 2016 version, like, it was well received, but now it's what? You're going to go and make an entirely new franchise around the Blair Witch, and people are going to be like, oh, that sucked. And it's going to be like, well, yeah, duh, because what are you going to do? What are you going to do with the Blair Witch that we haven't seen yet? Right? You going to not do a found footage version? Well, we got that with the Book of Shadows, right? Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm, look, again, I'm going to watch it. I'll see how it goes. But it's just like, at what point do we stop turning these classics into like remakes and then are shocked when they don't have the perception, right? And it's like your track record hasn't been great in this regard. I mean, again, look at The Exorcist most recently. People aren't raving about The Exorcist. People aren't over here. Like, you literally had to fire everybody because it was so bad, hoping that you can make your other 2 films that you set up, that you already announced that you were going to do beforehand. And now what? Now you're going to do this? And it's like, again, I get that Blumhouse, that's kind of their MO. I get that that's kind of their thing, but I don't know. I personally think it's silly. I personally am like, do something differently. Can we get a little creativity? Maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe it turns out great. Maybe it's a great film. Look, I'm all for it. Right? I want good movies. I want good films. I want good things that, like, you can sit and enjoy, right? Like, but it's just like you have so many of these installments already, right? You have, like, the Blair Witch Project, Curse of the Blair Witch, Shadow of the Blair Witch, the Book of Shadows, the Blair Witch in 2016. It's just, now you're going to add this other installment, and look, maybe it, like I said, maybe it turns out great. Maybe it's a great story and they are able to kind of rework this and reimagine it. But it's like, and I get, you throw on the Blair Witch for the draw. But again, the last film we got was in 2016. And it's like, how many people are pumped for a new Blair Witch film? I mean, maybe there people are, right? Again, I could be completely wrong. That's why, as always, I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? This is my opinions. Maybe people are, like, raving about this and like, yeah, this is great. Let's another remake. Like, I don't know. It's just, again, like, you hear all the, people don't go to theaters anymore. Like, films aren't what they used to be. And it's like, well, yeah, because you're not giving us anything, right? Like, give us something to work with here, right? Like, I want to be able to praise movies. I want to be able to be like, man, like, that was great, right? But, like, when you just keep pumping out and regurgitating the same thing over and over again, it's like, how pumped can I be that, like, oh, okay, here we go, the 6th installment of the Blair Witch, and this isn't even like a continuation. They're gonna reimagine it, right? But like I said, I like Next of Kin, so maybe they turn this into something like that, where it's like, okay, this was actually good. Like, this was fun. This was a good watch, fun watch, and it's enjoyable. We'll find out. We're going to find out pretty quickly, right? But again, I have a feel whatever your thoughts are. I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.